Is there anybody that does not understand English very well? So maybe we'll stick with English for the most part, because we also have our friends here streaming in from the world at large. And you're welcome to come see. They're waiting right now. Oh, wow. So, and this is a part of the new aspect of my work at large. And I'm going to share a little bit about my time here and why I'm doing this show today. And nostalgia. Nostalgia is really what I've been going through in the past 3 weeks. I've been here in Vienna, here in this room, in this space that I've had the opportunity to work in for many years. A lot of the artwork here, especially on these walls, was all created here, as well as many, many, many other paintings and drawings. And man, we experimented and played a lot. We had a lot of fun. And so I was able to work in the studio from about 1999, 2000, until about 2008, 2009, when I started going back to the US, which is where I'm from, and got a studio in Los Angeles. And I've been based in Los Angeles and Colorado since 2010. And yeah, I feel like this is a huge opportunity to be able to reflect on the journey. And so the way that this show is put up is starting on this side is like my earlier works that I still have, which I really don't have that many. Of course, I have more drawings, and I've been archiving and looking at all my drawings, photographing, documenting everything, and then moving through, right, with some examples of the different kinds of techniques I've played with. So many, of course, so many drawings like of the figure, studies. Like this one was a study for a painting that I did for a winery, Iglo, and many self-portraits. And I'm going, I know, this way a little bit, but I just wanted to share about some of these pieces because they're stories, right? There's stories with every single one of them. And these ones here were done for record covers. My partner at the time was, he had a recording studio and a record label, and those were the record covers. And these were studies, and you can see this one, the Saraswati. Because I lived in Bali before I came to Vienna. I came to Vienna in 1997 to study with Michael Fuchs. And Michael Fuchs, he'll be here soon. He said he was running a little bit late. But yeah, so I spent time in Bali, and I brought the sculpture with me. And so she was one of the studies that I did while I was learning to see. Because when I worked with Michael Fuchs, it was the mission, I think in many ways, was to learn how to see, to paint what I could see. And I knew this was going to be a very valuable tool for whatever it was that was going to come through me later. I didn't really know, but I had a sense, and I wanted the tools to be able to do that. And so working with Michael Fuchs really helped train the eye and the hand coordination. And then as I continued exploring, I worked with his father, Ernst Fuchs, for many years as an assistant. And that was parallel to me being able to work here in this space. So here in the book, I broke all the rules, is what I feel like. During that time, it was there was a lot of abstraction and exploration. There's an auction that I have put up, and some of you might be aware of that already, where some of these pieces are in the online auction, and I'm going to add more later tonight. And there's some in there that are very strange or funny or different, but there's plenty of that too. It's something that I think a lot of people now wouldn't recognize as my work, what people know of my work, but it's an important part of the process and a part of my story. And I hope I never stop exploring. And if you ever stop questioning and testing your own, definitions, I guess, of yourself, then, I think you become stagnant, it's the stagnant water. And so we got to keep moving. And I just shaved off 15 years of hair, like 10 months ago now, but it's also a similar thing, I would say. It's like exploring with oil pastels, and playing with different kinds of, ideas in comparison to studying and drawing someone as they sit there in their truest form, It's a totally different thing. But for me, it's like all a part of the same story of exploring life, right? To just be committed to only one expression is just not what I feel like doing. So I explore, right? And even like this little monkey here, this was something I completely forgot about. I found in my archives here, and I drew him in or her, I don't know, from life, right? But this monkey sat very still, and he's been sitting very still for hundreds of years, I think, in the Natural History Museum in Vienna. And the only reason why you can really see that he's not alive is there's a little like sewing here and that. And surreal experiences, right? And so I find that through making art and drawing, you see more. You can go even deeper into what's all around us all the time. I think a lot of times we take things for granted, and art is one of these mediums that can give us deeper appreciation and teach us, right, constantly. This painting, does anybody know the musician Nick Drake? You might look him up. Yeah, guitar, fantastic. We've been listening to him again. But there was a tribute show here in Vienna in 2004. I think he died in 1974. And so I was asked to paint a piece for the poster. So there's actually like, that was the poster, but the painting, it's still with me. So Nick Drake fans, anybody out there, Nick Drake fans? I think you want this painting, right? I would love it to go. And like these two pieces, this is both Michelangelo's David, right? This is a study from the back, I think from a beautiful book that I found. I've never seen him in person, but this one is called American David. And I think it has a very interesting context for today and then. I think I did this 2003 or 4. And this context of the prudeness, a little bit of Americans, and then also this obsession with guns, right? And what is the gun? What's your genitalia? I mean, this one and this one together, right? And this piece over here is this question of weapons, right? Because this is a weapon. And I didn't really, I guess I knew that, but I didn't know that this gesture was a weapon, the act of lifting a skirt. And I read about this in a book called The Story of Me this was 2005. And I heard that this was actually something that women would do and have been found in different continents throughout the world. to scare away the devil or to stop an army in its tracks. And instead of drawing a gun, right? I was like, wow, that's pretty fascinating. I started talking to other people and asking if they knew about this, and nobody did. So I said, I should probably do a painting about that. And so that was a sketch when I was just, considering this, that it was the question though, why? Why would I do that, right? And so that's where there's a print of that painting up here, the Anasaramai. The original of that painting is this size. And that's actually even a little bit bigger. And they're both painted at the same time, started at the same time here in the studio from the same piece of canvas. And this one was a commission. This is a commission. It was the biggest painting and the most money I'd ever gotten for a painting at the time. And I knew where it was going to hang. I knew, who I was painting it for. It was a very free, open commission. But it was around female sensuality, right? And so I wanted the contrast. I wanted to paint the contrast of on the one hand, this kind of like open sensuality, but then the other hand, this kind of like fierce statement. And as you can see also, this painting has a big hole in it. I don't know, some of you may know what happened here, but the story is this, the book is under construction and renovation right now. And there was a construction accident with this painting and another one where some electrical lines were run through the paintings, through our storage. And so this has been also a big wake-up call for me in paying attention to my work and to also give it more attention and really work on my archives. And I'm also working towards making a nice book. But it's going to be repaired, likely. We're in the process right now of talking with the insurance companies and the repair. And, for the work has to be valued professionally. So, and I've never had this done. I've been painting and I've been living from my work for over 20 years, but I've never had my work professionally valued. We'll pay a 9,000 euro repair on this painting, right? It has to be at least worth that, right? Because if it's then they're not going to pay that, right? So this is an interesting part of my education and growing up through this process. Also, this painting here, Hope, is one that I could have sold many different times, and I've always decided to keep it because it's a really it's a milestone piece of mine. It was done 2004, and it was around an exhibit that was here at the VUC down in the project room. There was over 100 artists that came together around the death of an artist from Senegal who was murdered in the Stadtpark here in Vienna by the police, and it was filmed. And so it was a really big kind of like Aufstand. There was a big stepping up by many artists to bring attention to this kind of brutality. And so for me, I went into a place of trying to, considering what was it that would drive someone to murder another human being. And to me, the story that came through here, it was the wounding, the pain of the spiritual child inside of us. And that is really where that stems from. And so from there, the story continued. And here is also this table of power, which is also in this painting, in the Anasaramai on the bottom there. And those are the only two paintings that I've ever actually painted that in. But it's kind of satirical because there's Mickey Mouse in here. There's like a bug or an alien, yeah. And there's also the crucifixion at the top of the family. which is a part of a lot of the wounding that I feel like we all have, right? Is this wounding of our connection to each other and our roots, and also what happens to us as children. Sometimes that trauma is what it's what leads us to disconnect and have that kind of lead to suicide or murder. So to me, this painting is it's a heavy painting in some ways, and like this one maybe, and then maybe also the Anna Soramai, those two paintings are not paintings that necessarily everybody would want to hang up in their living room, but they're, I think, important paintings to have and to do, and I will continue to do them. And these two on either side, this is the Pacific and the Atlantic. They were also painted around the same time, and I've exhibited them in many different ways. They originally were painted for a room that was on either side. And so, but I've also exhibited them like this. They're kind of, but they're strange format in a way. But I think they're pieces that are fascinating to me. Also because of my relationship with the world and having traveled and lived in many different places. This is a little watercolor that I did in Bali, Indonesia, which has been an important place in the world for me. And this is an offering. So I feel like this connection is really powerful. This is also painted in Bali. And this was a part of my transition when I was transitioning out of Vienna and back into the world. 2006 is when I also found the shape of the egg, the seed. You see there's all these seed paintings up at the top here. And the three in the middle are actually the two, kind of, not the very middle one. Those are my first seed paintings. And I painted them, I was looking for a form that I could feel totally safe in and free to explore. And so those are the first paintings that I kind of went into the abstraction of feeling to see what would come through. And the red one is Colorado, which is where I'm from, and based around the feeling of the colors and the essence there. And the one more towards the left is the blue one, the dark one, that's Vienna. And I know Vienna is also very bright, right? But Vienna is also dark and has a heaviness, right, to it that is so powerful and so fascinating. And I remember Professor Ernst Fuchs once said to me, he said the Vienna and Prague are doorways to hell, or Vienna is one of the doorways to hell. And I asked him, I said, well, where did you hear that? And he said it was Kaiser Franz Josef. Hi, Michael. And the painting in the middle is Chicago. And that was an experience. I got stuck in Chicago once for 10 days, and that's like my adventure there, which was so fun. But these seeds have been a form that I've continued to explore, and pretty much starting in 2006 and 2005, because I painted again on this painting, the Saraswati, that I started in '99. I painted on it in 2005 again, and there's all these seeds there. So the form started speaking to me, and then when I saw that I was going to paint it for the rest of my life, that I would be painting seeds and eggs. And so to keep jumping around, this little series here, this was a part of an exhibit that I did with my ex-partner, who's an artist from San Francisco, in California. His name's Nomi Adana. And we did a show at the Gallery 10 in 2008 called Erotica. So it was erotic surreal art. And these are some of the pieces that I still have from that show. This is also an etching. I have a whole series of etchings that I did in Vienna, and it's hand painted in watercolor. And for anybody that wants to see more, I can show you more. I was planning to put up a whole series of etchings over that window. So if you do come back this weekend, I can promise you the room is going to continue to evolve. And I would love to invite you to continue to come and just be with me or play with me. And let's make art too, because that's what this space is for. And there's a project here in the middle that I see Luis has been drawing. And this is an invitation to all of you big people that you are also all artists. We're all artists and we all have a story and a vision that wants to come through us. And so I started these are train cars. And this is something that I started in 2017 with my friend's class in Los Angeles. And it's an invitation to draw your vision in a train car, right? So, and you can draw as many as you want. You know, there's no limit here. But when we connect them, you know, it just keeps going, it keeps going. We can strengthen each other's prayers. So what is it that you see that you want to see more of, right, in the world? What would you like to be a part of, to help contribute to? What is your piece of the puzzle? You know, because every single one of us has a different story and has a different way of describing it. And the vision train has evolved as well. I'll tell you about that in the middle. Later. Hi, vision train. They're streaming at us from all over the place. So share your vision in words too, so you can describe it. And then you can also sign it and you can give it to me and I will take care of it, because we're going to build a train. It's coming. The story is coming, but it's an iterative process. So it takes many different phases of the development of a vision to bring it into form. So I figure that drawing out your vision it's a magic trick, really. Right? So yeah, some of the other paintings to keep going here. Lucid Sound. This is a print, and this is a print over here also. Grito del Tekendama. This is a painting that I did together with Alex Estoque from Colombia, and Ernst Fuchs actually painted on this piece as well. And it's a much bigger painting. It went around the world with me, and I painted on it in Moscow, in the Philippines, in Hawaii, in Australia, and it was like gathering. It was a piece of gathering the medicine of the waters and also the stories of you know it's really a prayer for the waters. This is Tequendama. It's a waterfall in Colombia. I think it's the second biggest waterfall there, and it's extremely polluted. And so this, you know, this is not okay. We need to reverse such things, and especially since humans were the ones to do this. Art can be used, you know, as a form of communication, and then also of protest, but also of healing. And I feel like also with the connection of the plant medicine and the Amazon ayahuasca, and the revival or the resurgence of plant medicine also in the Western world, it's a really important thing and time for that to be for that to be awakening now, because we need it more than ever. And some of these drawings down here, these were done in Vienna and then also in Bali. These little drawings here were actually done in the studio here, I think 2007. And this little table, I've done all these little paintings actually on with this black glass, and Michael Fuchs gave this to me many years ago. He probably doesn't even remember, but it's been, yeah, you know, little things like this have been a really important support. And so this, these two paintings were done, I think this one's 2011, and that one started, that's a little bit later, I don't even remember now, 2018 maybe. But you'll see here, there's I don't have any of the train paintings here, because out of the egg came the train, but there is the train here. And the story of the train is about the next biggest party on planet Earth, is what I see. And I think it's gonna be carried by a train and disseminated through the gathering of people coming together to remember their roots, to remember how how creatively powerful we are when we come together around the shared valuing of what it means to be alive on planet Earth, and to dance and to sing and to make art, to eat delicious food, and within the magic of that environment, that kind of circus, is a lot is possible. And I think that's where so much healing can happen. And so that's really like the story that I'd say I'm most interested in, and I've been talking about it for the last decade. So a lot of the time that I've been more outside of Vienna, it's kind of like that story has been singing to me. And so I see this step right now, being in the studio now here, as a time to reflect, to process, and prepare for the next chapter. And so the vision train, I want to speak a little bit more to that, as that's evolved from the drawing project as being something, well, we'll start here. No matter if you say, I know a few of you will say, oh, I can't draw, right? How many? Raise your hand. Right? Well, that's a story that you got in your head at some point, and I understand, right? But that happens. We all can draw. It may not be pleasing to us, but it's the same thing like dancing or anything else. We have to, of course, train ourselves to be able to really draw something and make it look like something. But to explore and express yourself, it's a medium that's incredibly powerful, right? To go into the feeling of it and to invite and ask for something to come through you, right? I believe we're all artists in that way. And so being available, making yourself available, is a big part of what this story is about, so that we can find the clues of how we're going to participate, right? And one of the things that came through for me was in the pandemic that we've just been through. At the beginning of the pandemic, our school here in Vienna, the Vienna Academy of Visionary Art, had to close. And even before it had to close, I put together a Facebook group connecting my different students from all over the world, and I invited them to come get into a Zoom meeting together, which is what we're on right now. And we called it the Nonstop Vision Train Global Art Jam. And that's been going on for almost 3 years. And it's one meeting that's 24/7. And thousands of artists and people have been on board. And it's a place to get together and be inspired and to support each other. And we've started a school now out of the school that came out of the closing of the Vienna Academy of Visionary Art. We started an online school called the Vitra Academy, which is the Vision Train Academy of Art. And yeah, we're still just getting started. And now to link back to the roots, this building that we're standing in right now is an old locomotive factory. Isn't that interesting? Right? So, this space that has held me and that I've had the opportunity to be in all these years has maybe been influencing me a little bit. You never know. What is it? But I've also, as I've been here this time, I sanded the floors with my friend. And I did this in this room 20 years ago, right? And so I had the smells, the experience. I had so much gratitude to be able to do this again, because I could reflect on the 20 years that has been in the meantime, what I've done with my life, all the paintings, looking at them, like, why? You know, you ask yourself, why did I do this? Why did I make these choices? Where is it going? And you know, what's next, right? Preparing for what's next. And so that's what I see this opportunity of being here now, is really to make space and make a moment, a time, mark a time where it's like time to transition into a new chapter. And so I'm really grateful to the book. Big shout out to the book, where we are now, and all the people that have, it's the people that have helped keep this space a place for experimentation. And if you don't know much about the book, I mean, maybe you'll look into it a little bit more. It's so fascinating. The basements are filled with musicians. There's many different art studios, a big wood shop and metal shop and ceramic studio and schools. And like, you went to one of the schools here, one of the children's groups. There's intercultural groups that are here, and performance and dance and theater. It's a really fascinating place. And I see that the train that I've been dreaming about for the last 10 years is going to carry the tools that will build and help support creating more places like this. And visionary hospitals. Visionary hospitals, what's that? Places of healing, places of hospice, places of bringing together different modalities of healing, connected with all of the tools that we have already to really support healing of the whole human being. And I see art as one of those things that we can do that through, is one of the tools. Music, visual art, food, movement, right? All of these things are a part of what it is to be, I think, a full human being. And I'm starting to understand Rudolf Steiner a little bit more. And you know who Rudolf Steiner is? I grew up in the Waldorf system. And so it's interesting to be finding all these full circles. So I know I've been talking a lot. One more painting that's up next to Kevin. That's the book, actually, from like an aerial perspective. And I painted that it was the Christmas lights. We started a Christmas market here. And I was also in the Vorstand, on the board of directors here at the book in my 20s, and really was working on how do we connect and enliven the people and the groups that already work here in an even more synchronistic, collaborative way. And you know, the maze, we started the open studios at that time too. And this, just imagining this whole house just vibrating with energy and with light, and it connecting. So yeah, the book, I'm here with so much gratitude for this place and for all of you that are decided to come out tonight, and also for all of you guys out on our International Creative Space Station. So if you want to, I have more of these before you leave tonight. If you don't want to draw one, you could take one with you, and you can always bring it back to me, or you can always upload it through the website. But it's just an invitation, even if you don't show it to anybody. I tell you, you just put on some good music, hang out with a friend or by yourself, and explore like your intentions. What do you want to see more of in the world? What do you think we need to create a world that works for all? And which part do you play in making that happen? You know, and we have many different roles that we play in our life. It doesn't have to be one thing. So therefore you can draw more train cars. But it just helps us, I think, get closer to that action. So yeah, And also, I also apologize for not having titles on all of the pieces. If anything interests you, you can ask me. I mean, I did put this together, so this does exist. I am making an auction, so there's an online auction. Not all of the work that's here is on it yet, but there's and not all of the work that's on the auction is hanging because you know, there's so much. I found so many more things than I thought. But if you want to collect anything, it's a special time to do so. Yeah, you know, it's a piece in time. And who knows what's next after this. So, but thank you for being a part of the journey. Yeah. So, yeah. One more thing now, because Michael's here. Michael, do you want to come? Thanks for being here. Hi. Oh. So, yeah, no, not so Stiege. So Michael here was the reason why I came to Vienna in 1997.
We met in Boulder, Colorado. I did a course there for the what's it called in Boulder?
Naropa Institute.
Naropa Institute.
Yeah, with Phil Jacobson. And I was I just finished high school, so I was 18, and it was the day after I graduated high school, and I had never painted in oil before. And there was a 3-week course, and I came to this course, and yeah, was very very curious and very studious.
Oh, yeah,
and
very good, very good student.
After all these years, he can still say that. And so Michael invited me to come do an experiment like the old masters.
To work in my studio.
Mm-hmm. And painted a lot of still lifes. I found a lot of great drawings.
Yeah, one of the things here, right? Or at least a reproduction of it on the round table.
Yes. Yeah, there's a poster. It's over in the kitchen area. That's that was actually like my diploma painting.
Right.
You kind of kicked me out
There's
after
a
that.
wall in there. You can see the studio.
Yeah, yeah. That's Michael's studio. Yeah, this one. Yeah, I'll pull out the.
It's fun.
So we worked together for like a year and a half. Yeah, and I have a bunch of these, so if anybody wants one, just let me know and I will give you one, because I found a whole stack of them.
Right, and okay, that's really good. If it's in the studio. Very exciting. It's so weird.
Right?
Yeah, sorry. And that's the man.
Right? Yeah, and so in the style of the old masters, we started with drawing, right? Just
Right.
And then working on toned paper with black and white.
Exactly, to just undertaking the to get acquainted with height and white.
Yeah. And so, yeah, and then I went on, then Michael introduced me to his father after our studies, like a year and a half.
Right. When did you start painting on the
church?
altar? Yeah, the church. Was that many years after that, or just?
No, that was maybe 2001 or 2.
Oh, okay, so that was all.
Yeah, that was pretty much like, or 2000, like pretty quickly.
Oh, okay, yeah, because we met in Boulder in
96.
96.
And then I came 97, 98, 99. And then 99, I started working with your father. And
Doing the drapery.
drapery.
Yeah.
Have you seen Michael's work? If you know his work, he's like the drapery master.
Wow.
And so, of course, I got
Of course,
into
if I look at Angra, or Da Vinci.
well, of course, I mean, but I think like a lot of all the drapery turned into also exploring all these waves for me.
Yeah, drapery, water, clouds. Those are all things you can mold and use for
Yeah. And cool. Yeah, so and now Michael teaches still. You're doing seminars and workshops, and we did actually an online seminar, 2 of them last year.
Zoom.
Mhm.
It's fun.
Over Zoom and teaching. Yeah, we both, there's some of you like Olga's here, Kevin, and Yasmin. We've all,
Well, she helped.
yeah, and we've been, and a lot of people on the train. So this, we got the train on here, Michael.
Hi, everybody on the train.
Yeah, so,
Right.
yeah. Are there any questions? Anybody have any thing they want to share? Putting you on the spot. Well, yeah, thanks for being here, and come back in the next couple of days if you like, or stay connected. And also, if you want any art, we'll find something for you. I'll either give you something, like give you a poster, or if you want something else, we'll figure it out. Cool. Yeah. Thank you. Good. All right. Students back on. Are you guys gonna DJ?